अगला जो चीज हम पढ़ेंगे वो है पोर्ट फैसिलिटीज, राइट। तो पोर्ट्स जो है, दीज आर लाइक, वी कॉल देम द गेटवेज ऑफ इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड। इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड होने का बेसिस जो है वो पोर्ट्स है, और अगर ये पोर्ट्स डेवलप नहीं होते, क्योंकि इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड जो होता है मेजॉरिटी ऑफ इट हैपेंस वाया waterways, because we have developed these waterways over our oceans and seas and lakes and streams. And what if you if you've studied the transportation and communication chapter, so we've discussed this in details over there, that whatever bulky sort of cargo movement happens, it mostly takes place via ocean ways, through ships and steamers, and or through those inland waterways that we have developed, artificial waterways. तो ये ports जो है, these are located along along shores, along coastal lines, and these actually are very important if we were to if we were to transport goods internationally. So we'll look at this in detail. So we say, when we talk about gateways of international trade, we basically mean harbors and ports. So these harbors and ports are the chief gateways of international trade. And if you wanna study more about the more important ports that we have in our in the world, in the entire world, you should go back and check those videos of of transport and communication, where we discussed in great detail the various waterways, the various seaways, the various inland waterways, and we talked about a lot of seaports, and also we also talked about airports for that matter. So anyway, that's later on. For now, we're concerned with ports, which are the chief gateways of international trade. Why we say that these are the chief gateways of international trade is because all these cargoes and travelers pass via these. तो जो भी cargo movement होता है, या जो भी जो भी passenger movement होता है, if a group of people want to travel from one part of the country to another, or if we want to send large volumes of cargo, if we're trading internationally, if we're trading with some other country and we want to send large volumes of cargo, so we do that via these ports. And also in this chapter, we're only concerned with seaports, because that's how we send large volumes, that's how we send bulks of cargo. But then when we talk about ports, we can also mean airports. But then the problem with airports, or the problem with airways, is that in a flight we cannot really send bulky amounts of goods, because via airports, when we trade internationally, what we send is perishable items or very, very high valued items. Those are the ones that get transported via airways. But when we want to deal with large volumes of cargo, we basically stick to waterways. So that's why seaports are our concern here. So cargoes and travelers pass via these ports, and ports provide us with facilities for docking, loading, unloading and storage. तो इन पोर्ट्स में जो है हम शिप को जो है डॉक कर सकते हैं, हम सारा कार्गो जो है लोड कर सकते हैं, इफ वी वांट टू, इफ दैट्स द प्लेस वेयर वी वांट टू सेंड ऑल दिस कार्गो टू, तो वहां पे लोडिंग फैसिलिटीज भी होती है, अनलोडिंग फैसिलिटीज भी होती है, और ये जो सारा हम गुड्स का ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कर रहे हैं, इनको स्टोर करने के लिए स्टोरेज फैसिलिटीज भी होती हैं. So ports are equipped with all these facilities so that it can help with international trade. So that's what it's about. Also when we talk about the importance of a particular port, we can judge it by the amount of cargo and ships handled. मतलब एक पोर्ट जितना ज्यादा कार्गो हैंडल करता है, जितनी ज्यादा गुड्स आती है उसके पास या वहां से जाती है, या जितने ज्यादा शिप्स को वो हैंडल करता है, that determines the the importance of a particular port. मतलब अगर वहां पे बहुत ज्यादा कार्गो मूवमेंट होता है, यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा शिप्स आते हैं, तो इट्स एन इम्पॉर्टेंट पोर्ट. अगर इफ इट डील्स विद वेरी low volumes of cargo and not a lot of, there's not a lot of traffic on that port, so then it means that it's not a very important port. So the amount of cargo and ship handled is an implication for the importance of the port, and it's also an implication for the level of development of its hinterland. तो hinterland क्या होता है? When we say hinterland, what we mean is जिस जगह में वो port situated है, तो उसके so it's situated along the coastal line, that's fine, but उसके पीछे का जो पूरा एरिया है जहाँ पे जो वो कार्गो आया है, वो जिस जगह में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होगा, that is the hinterland. So when we say hinterland, what we mean is so this cargo has come from whatever, internationally it has come, over trading internationally, so it has come from some foreign country. So whatever areas we're going to distribute this cargo to is our hinterland. Whatever areas is served by this particular port is the hinterland for the port. So when there's high volumes of cargo handled by a particular port, that means that its hinterland is more developed. If there's more traffic on that port, it means that the hinterland is more developed because it's dealing with lots and lots of cargo, because it's it's a very important port for international trade. But at the same time, if it's not dealing with too much cargo, or if it's not handling too many ships, it means that the hinterland is probably not that developed, right? So the amount of cargo and ships handled is an implication for the importance of the port, and it's also an implication for the level of development of the hinterland, right, of the area that is served by this port. So moving on, in ports, what we're going to see is the various types of ports that we have. तो पोर्ट्स जो है बहुत तरह के होते हैं, हम एक एक करके पढ़ेंगे कि क्या क्या टाइप्स होती हैं पोर्ट्स की. बट बिफोर वी डू दैट, there's just one thing we need to know कि जब हम पोर्ट्स के टाइप्स को क्लासिफाई करते, जब हम पोर्ट्स के टाइप्स के बारे में बात करते हैं, तो उनको क्लासिफाई करने के काफी सारे तरीके होते हैं. Like when we talk about the kind of cargo that is handled by the port, तो उसके काफी सारे तरीके होते हैं. When we talk about the amount of traffic that is handled by the port, तो उसके काफी सारे तरीके होते हैं. So for now, the first classification that we are going to study is based on cargo. तो कैसा जो है फ्राइट मूवमेंट होता है, कैसे गुड्स का मूवमेंट होता है वहां पे, कैसा कार्गो आता है वहां पे, that determines कि कैसा है वो पोर्ट. So our first basis is cargo movement, and on the basis of cargo we can divide, or we can classify ports into three types. The first is industrial ports, the second is commercial ports, and the third is comprehensive ports. So industrial ports क्या होते हैं? So industrial ports specialize in bulk cargo like grain, oil, sugar, chemicals, etc. तो इंडस्ट्रियल पोर्ट्स मतलब क्या? जहां पे ये सारा इंडस्ट्रियल आइटम्स आते हैं, और वो भी बल्क में आते हैं, बहुत ज्यादा क्वांटिटीज में आते हैं. और कैसे आइटम्स आते हैं? वी हैव ग्रेन, ऑयल, शुगर, केमिकल्स एक्सेट्रा, जो भी सारे इंडस्ट्रियल गुड्स हैं जो इंडस्ट्री में मैन्युफैक्चर होके आते हैं. सो these are these come to what are called the industrial ports. The second ports that we have are commercial ports. Commercial ports क्या होते हैं? These ports handle general cargo, packaged products and manufactured goods as well as passengers. तो पैसेंजर मूवमेंट भी होता है. एक तो पहली बात यह है जो कि इंडस्ट्रियल पोर्ट्स में हमने नहीं देखा, but at the same time they also deal with cargo, packaged products, and these are not in bulk quantities, but they are also packaged goods, manufactured goods, and the way it's different from commercial ports is that they handle passenger movement as well. So there's facilities for the movement of the transportation of passengers as well. So those are commercial ports. The third type of port that we have are comprehensive ports. So comprehensive ports क्या होते हैं? They deal with bulk and general cargo in large volumes. So these comprehensive ports are also they also deal with cargo in large volumes. But if we were to remember, this one, comprehensive ports are basically a sort of mixture of industrial ports and commercial ports. So when we talk about commercial ports, if we see that a port has qualities of an industrial as well as a commercial port, तो हम तब उसको comprehensive कहते हैं. So these engulf industrial ports and commercial ports both, तो दोनों के qualities जब इसमें होते हैं तब हम उसको comprehensive port कहते हैं. We look at a few other classification of ports, but this was our first classification, and I hope you understood up till this much.